y'all, back with another video. You know the vibe. So this video is not going to be as upbeat as most. I'm going to tell you about one of the worst days of my entire prison sentence, right? So I spent most of my time at Gaston, which is in Quincy, Florida. Gretna, really. It's like Park Quincy, Park Gretna. It's up there in Gaston County. And I spent about 4.5 years there, so I spent almost half of my time at Gaston. And then I got transferred because I wasn't getting any visitations in the top of Florida, and I felt like if I transferred closer to home that it would make it easier for them to come see me, because I was like 8 hours away. So I was like, let me, move a little closer to home, even though Gaston has the most opportunities. It's a privately owned prison, so they have more trades, they have more activities, they have more things going on at the prison because it's privately owned. So they do more things than they do in the Department of Corrections. So I wanted to get visits, so I transferred to Hernando, which was a faith-based. That's a whole nother video talking about Hernando. So I was at Hernando, and I have a cousin that's incarcerated. So she was at Hernando as well. So I got to see her. We got to spend some time together. So I got to be there for her. She got to be there for me. So that was a good thing about when I transferred to Hernando. And we ended up in the same exact quad, which is crazy. There aren't that many people at Hernando. It was like 400, 450 at the max. So it was a smaller prison. They did not have AC, so it was always hot. But I was at Hernando. And while I was at Hernando, it was a faith-based program. So one of the clauses in my probation is that I have to do substance abuse. So I did substance abuse while I was incarcerated, because I'm like, listen, if I'm already here and they have it available, then I'm gonna go ahead and take it, because a lot of the classes that you have to take for your probation, you have to pay for them. So I'm like, while I'm here, I might as well go ahead and knock this out. So I did. But I had a bunkie, and in prison, you have bunk beds. So the quad I was in Hernando, it was open bay and you had bunk beds. So it was a big room with a bunch of bunk beds where everybody was at. So my bunkie that slept under me, I was on the top, she was on the bottom. And she was an older lady. I was locked up with her sister at Gaston. So after we figured that out, and I loved her sister, she was such an amazing person. She was funny, she always was in good spirits. So her sister, we got along just fine. She was real sweet. She was an older lady. She was a little bit heavy set. And she was funny. I'm talking about when it came to the jokes. In prison, if you can find somebody that's funny, that can make you laugh, like, that is golden. That is golden. It feels good to laugh. Like, even if you're having a bad day, if you got that one person that always reach out to those people. So she was always upbeat. She was funny. And her and my cousin, they was real close. So by nature, we got along. And you're always very skeptical about your bunkie when you move to a new place, because your bunkie can make your life amazing, or they can make your life a living hell. I've had plenty of bunkies who's made my life a living hell. So it was very refreshing when I got there. It was like, okay, she's so nice. And she was real sweet. She loved to cook. So she used to cook our meals. Like, well, when you cook together in prison, like, you'll bring your food, they'll bring their food, and whoever else is eating. So like, say if we making tuna logs, somebody will get the tuna, somebody will get the noodles, somebody will get the pickles, somebody bring the mayo. So it's like, you bring a lot of stuff, but it's cheaper when you cook together because you don't have to put all the ingredients in. So we used to cook together all the time, and she used to make our food because she used to like throw down. You know what I'm saying? Baby knew what she was doing, but she had like health problems. So I remember, so it was a regular morning, and every morning my cousin, she used to come after she get in the shower, because remember I told you it's a shower line. So after she get in the shower, my bunkie used to be after her. So after she would get out the shower, she'll come wake my bunkie up and be like, hey, the shower is available, you can go get in the shower. So this one morning I'm asleep, and she's coming, my cousin is coming to wake her up to go get in the shower. So I'm asleep laying there, and I can hear, her like, hey, it's time to get up. Your shower's ready. So I'm just like laying there. So she wasn't getting up. So I'm still laying there, people sleep hard. No big deal. People sleep hard. So my cousin's like still like shaking her and like, hey, it's time to get up. So I hear my cousin, like, she's starting to freak out. So like, I'm sitting up and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong? She was like, she's not waking up. And I'm like, she's probably just sleeping hard. Just wait, just push a little bit more. So I'm still sitting in the bed. I'm not down, so I can't see my bunkie, but I can see my cousin, and she's like about to start freaking out. So I'm trying to like calm her down, like, just wake her up. So she kept trying to shake her, and she was like, she's not waking up. So she started freaking out. So then I get up, and like, I'm fully awake now. So I get up and I'm like, you know, she's probably asleep. So the first thing I did was take my finger and put it under her nose to see if she was breathing, because she was asleep with her mouth closed. So I'm like, she's fine. So I took my finger and I put it under her nose, and whew, she was not breathing. So I'm like, at this moment, it was like I wasn't even in my body. Like, this isn't happening. Like, it was like, when they say you go in shock, that is literally true, because it was like I couldn't fathom what was going on. It's like I was just froze. So I'm like, I kept putting my finger under her nose. I'm like, she's not breathing. So I told my cousin, I'm like, go, you know what I'm saying, go to the officer station and let them know. So she's like crying and everything. So I'm like shaking her and I'm like calling her name and I'm like, get up, you know, get up, it's time to get up. And she was not moving, and she was not moving. So my cousin, she ran to the officer station and she's like, she's not getting up, she's not getting up. So the officers like ran in there and they like, I'm still trying to shake her and get her up. So the officer, he comes and he's like shaking her and everything, trying to get her to get up, and she is not moving. So the whole dorm is just like, everybody is shocked. Now, in prison, you do not get along with everybody. You can't stand half of the people for whatever reason. But everybody was like, stop what they was doing, just like, you know what I'm saying, what's going on, what's going on? So the officer, he can't get her to wake up. So he gets on the radio and he hits the button and he's like, you know what I'm saying, we have an inmate unresponsive in the dorm. And it was this one lady, she was a stud, she was an officer. And she was so mean and nasty. When I tell you, like, she was just, it's like she was rude for no reason. Like, she had no sympathy when it came to nothing. Like, it was so irritating. Nobody really liked her because of how she treated people, how she talked to people. She was like very dismissive. If something happened and you was trying to tell your story, she'll like cut you off, act like you was not important. And we always felt like she felt like inmates was nobody. Like, we was the bottom of the barrel. Like, we didn't have life, we didn't have value. So they hit the button, and I guess she was one of the ones that was close. So she came running in there, and it was like, anytime something goes on, you have to always call for medical. Medical take their time getting there. I don't care what you call over the radio. Medical take their time getting there. Now, I don't know what they be doing down there. Maybe they be busy. Maybe they have a lot going on. But baby, the compound ain't but this big. Okay, so it shouldn't take you that long. So medical was taking a long time to get there. So the lady who I said was real nasty, she ran in there, and I'm talking about forever changed the way I looked at her. Because the officers, they don't really touch you. Like, they feel like we dirty. Like, they feel like, like you an inmate, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all will do anything, y'all will say anything. And you have a lot of inmates who will lie on officers and say they tried to touch them or try to do anything and like try to get you put under investigation. Some of those allegations be true and a lot of them don't be true. So you have officers that's real skeptical when it comes to interacting too close or personal with inmates with reason. So she runs in there, and before medical could even get there, like, they was like, what's taking medical so long? Like, they kept paging medical, because we all trying to shake her and wake her up, and she is not moving, she's not breathing. So this lady immediately starts performing CPR on her, and like, it gives me chills, because y'all really don't understand how big that is. They do not care for us. At least they act like they do not care for us. And she immediately started performing CPR on this inmate, because medical was taking too long. And when medical got there, like, she was low-key spazzing out on medical, like, what was taking them so long? And I'm talking about for the longest. Now, I started crying. And she was just performing CPR. And I swear, as she was doing it, it's like time was moving so slow. It was like you could feel every single second as it kept going. And it's like, oh my goodness, please. And I'm like, it can't be happening. Like, this not happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna come back. So I'm talking about, she was just performing CPR over and over. And it took medical probably a good 5 minutes. Now, 5 minutes might not sound long, but when your life is hanging in the balance, 5 minutes is excessively long. Like, if I'm out cold and something's wrong with me, please don't take 5 minutes to get to me. And I'm talking about this whole time, she did not ease up when it came to the CPR, and she kept going. So by the time medical got there, medical started trying to perform CPR and everything. They asking us like, what happened, and this, that, and third. And we like, listen. And my cousin's like, I tried to wake up for the shower when she wasn't waking up. And I was like, I got down and I, you know, tried to wake her up as well. And I realized she wasn't breathing. So we, you know, alerted the officers, and they came, and she was performing CPR. When medical got there, and they kept trying. Oh my gosh, they kept trying. And the whole time I was just praying. I was like, Lord, please, just please, this is not a way. Oh, this is not the way. Like, prison is a very horrible experience. This is not the way to go out. This is not the experience where you come and then this is where you want it to end. You want this to be a stepping stone where you can make yourself better, have a better life for you, reflect, so when you get out there for your freedom, that you can go at it a little bit stronger, a little bit different. So it was like so traumatic because I've always had thoughts or ideas that I was not gonna make it home from prison. So it was like, it was so scary. The entire dorm was in tears and crying and just like praying, because it was a faith-based dorm. So of course, you know, there was a lot of religious and stuff in there. So we had prayer circles and everything, and they could not get her breathing. Sure, the family had so many questions because there's no way I would have believed that she just passed in her sleep from a heart attack. We were under investigation. The investigators came, they spoke with everybody who had anything to do with it. They interviewed my cousin, they got a statement from me, and it was just so sad when they finally gave that word that she passed in medical. It was like the entire compound, there was nobody laughing, there was nobody running, skipping, like you couldn't just go on with your day. It was, you seen people walking around moping. It was so sad and depressing. Just being on the yard, you could tell. That's one thing about it. We may not get along, but that day when she passed, we all felt that. We all took it personal because it could have been any one of us. It could have been any one of us. And to feel like that could have been me, and this could have been the end of my story. Like, this could have been where it ended for me. It was very, very traumatizing. I've never had somebody close to me die. My granddaddy passed. We were close when I was younger. When my father passed, he wasn't in my life, so we did not have a relationship. But to have somebody pass away while you're asleep on the bed above them, like, I felt horrible. The angel of death was that close to me and passed me by. The angel of death was in the room with me. Somebody passed while I was in the room, while I was there. And it's like, maybe I could have got up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. Maybe I could have helped her. Like, did she try to knock on the bed to get help? Did she try to alert me? Did she make a noise and I was just thinking it was a regular noise in the middle of the night? Like, so many things. And then I just feel so sad that you knew it was happening, and it's like you couldn't alert nobody, you couldn't tell nobody, so you couldn't even get help for yourself. And it's like, I know she had to be terrified and scared in that moment, and it just makes me so sad that I was asleep on top of her when this happened. If you got somebody locked up, make sure you check on them. Make sure you check, because you never know. And also, stay out of trouble. Prison is, don't go to prison. Don't go to prison. Stay out of trouble. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.